Hello, my chicklets. Thank you for stopping by. Don't forget, I do have those links in the description where you can join my Discord, request specific stories, or even follow me on Tumblr. This story was actually one that was requested by somebody on Tumblr, and it's super cute in my opinion. Let's read just a tiny bit of Loceit. Seducing the Nerd. 5 in the godforsaken morning wasn't an appropriate time for any sentient being to be awake. At least, that was Janice's belief. He held that belief very strongly, and yet here he was. Did he really need this job? Did he really need to be standing in front of a cash register for a job he hated? What made things worse was this wasn't even the beginning of his shift. He had already been here for 30 minutes, setting up the ovens, warming up the coffee maker, and brewing the first batch. Who in their right mind would come to a coffee shop this early in the morning? Certainly not anyone with an ounce of sense. Then again, he worked in customer service. He was sure he rarely got the chance to meet the mythic customer with sense. 1 coffee and 1 bagel with... What's the word? The man in front of him looked exhausted. He waved his hand in a floundering motion, as if that would somehow get Janice to understand what he meant. Jelly, Considering Janice had no idea what that meant, he assumed that wasn't the word the man was looking for. Apparently, the customer knew it too, because he ran a hand through his black hair, looking Janice in the eyes. It was also far too early in the morning for Janice to be feeling this gay. Those blue eyes were beautiful, and Janice did enjoy a man who could speak multiple languages. The stuff with fruit. You spread it on a bagel after you put on the cream cheese. The man sighed and his shoulders dropped in defeat. Sorry, it's too early. Finally, someone who was speaking a bit of sense. Janice couldn't help but snort, grabbing a coffee cup. He wasn't good at flirting, but he was good at cool condescension with a bit of sweetness. Hopefully, that would keep this nerd talking, because Janice was into it. Do you mean jelly? Yes, the man snapped, and a small smile slid on his face. Jelly, What language did I even say that in? His eyes looked a bit off as if he was trying to figure something out, mouthing the word. Was that Portuguese? I'm learning Portuguese, but that's not even one of the 2 languages I speak. I don't even know how I know that word. His smile shifted, something soft and sheepish. Yep, definitely too early for Janice to be catching the gay. He turned around quick to get the coffee. Janice was happy to listen to the polyglot with rapt attention as he attempted to figure out how he had managed to forget a word in 2 languages he spoke, but remember it in another he didn't. It was hard not to laugh, and even harder not to be interested. We all do strange things this early in the morning, he said, holding out the cup for the man to take. Yes, we do. The customer looked a bit sheepish at his mistake, but there was still the smallest hint of a smile on his lips. It seemed like he wanted to say something, but the words couldn't come out. Fascinating. Multiple languages, and he still couldn't find the right words. Janice brushed his finger across the side of the cup, putting on his best actual smile, not the fake customer service one he normally used. There was a silence between them that spoke volumes, and Janice was far too curious for his own good, but he continued to play it calm and cool, allowing his hand to drop back to the counter. Can I get a name? He let the silence hang for a moment, allowing the other man to make his assumptions before Janice continued. For the bagel. Logan looked around at the empty shop, eyebrow raised. So Janice wasn't as smooth as he thought. Sue him. It was still far too early in the morning. However, the customer nodded, setting the coffee back on the counter as he went to reach for his wallet out of his back pocket. Logan, he said. My name is Logan. Thank you. Janice wrote the name on one of the paper bags before returning to the cash register. He wrung Logan out, taking the payment and the receipt before using his nail to draw a small circle on it. He also wrote a single number at the top. I'd appreciate it if you took the survey. And here you'll see that I circled my name. It's Janice, by the way. Logan took the receipt and nodded. He looked down at it quizzically, forming the name silently on his lips before nodding, accepting that he had it memorized. Honestly, Janice was making assumptions at this point, but it felt like a good assumption. And if Logan was trying to memorize his name, that was a good sign too. And about this number? Good. He was asking the important questions. Janice shrugged with a little smirk. He had to play it cool, suave. He couldn't let this man know how the slight quirk of his smile was extremely cute and endearing. It's part of our reward program. If you come 6 more times while I'm on shift, you'll get my number. Once again, the other man raised his eyebrow at Janice's antics, but the stupid little smile was hiding underneath it all. That Janice could read. It was so obvious, shouting to Janice, "I know your secrets." 2 could play at that game, though. He was about to speak again, add some little caveat when Logan opened his mouth instead. Interesting. So I only need to come back 6 more times until I have the full number? That is correct. But it does have to be while I'm on shift. None of his coworkers would believe Logan if he came in asking for Janice's number, which was fine. Janice preferred to keep his private life a secret anyway. And do you always work the early shift? Logan was pulling out his own phone, and Janice could see he was opening up the Notes app to type something in. Oh, he was seriously going to come back, just to get Janice's phone number. Was he really? Every day except Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Janice smiled, if only to hide his nervousness. Logan nodded, looking up at Janice with those eyes that suddenly had a lot more clarity for the early morning hour. Noted. Logan finally smiled and nodded. I will have to come back every morning then. Seems I might have found a reason to be up this early. Janice was desperate to hide the blush that was forming on his face, desperate to pretend he was still in control of the situation and hadn't fallen for a set of midnight blue eyes. Swallowing, he nodded, forcing his shoulders to relax as he leaned against the bar nonchalantly. Seems like it, he whispered in a voice he hoped sounded calm and cool. Logan just smiled and left. Maybe this job wasn't so bad. Thank you all for listening. Again, that was Seducing the Nerd. I do hope y'all enjoyed it. Remember, all of my stories are on Tumblr and AO3, so you are more than welcome to check those out, but I'll be back again next Wednesday with another story. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.